In the spring of 2020, before lockdown, Kathie Griffiths visited Colonsay, where the school was looking for a new head teacher. This podcast was recorded before they successfully filled that post, and the new head teacher starts in the summer of 2020.
Well, that's the alarm. Let me switch it off. It's an early start. Oh, that's it. It's an early start. I'm off to Colonsay today to go story gathering, so I'm away to get a shift on and get myself to Oban Airport. Hello, I'm Kathie Griffiths and I'm on my way to Colonsay. Just pulled up at Oban Airport. It's raining. I wonder if it's going to be raining there. Anyway, a day's story gathering ahead of me, so come and join me. Carol, thanks very much for picking me up. It was a good flight.
You're very welcome. It's such a lovely day to be out at this time in the morning.
We're rather lucky. So just tell me about where we are now.
We're crossing Machrans, which is the Macher, one of the biggest Macher areas on the island. And this is the golf course too. You can maybe see the occasion. Well, no, I don't think you can at the moment. Probably one of Scotland's most interesting golf courses.
Is that because of all the rises and
yes,
dips?
Yes. And
You can tell I'm not a golfer, I'm afraid. Not that
it's
terminology.
not so bad just now because we don't seem to have many rabbits, but the rabbits make life more challenging too. There are greens that are carefully tended to during the summer, but then the rabbits come along at night and dig everything up again.
Have a good munch.
Yes.
So how long have you lived on the island?
Off and on since 79, so I'm not quite sure how many years that is.
30?
But,
30?
Yes. Yeah, it will.
Is that right?
80, no, closer to 40.
40? I didn't do very well when it was maths in the classroom. And what is it for you about Colonsay that makes you want to stay?
Oh, that's a good question. I've asked myself that question a lot in the last month, especially. I don't know. There just seems to be something about the place that either grabs you or doesn't. And I just love it. I suppose it's being so close to nature, you know, and life as it is, rather than living in the city. I am a city person, born, but no, there's just something about living somewhere where you have to just do everything for yourself, get on with life. You can't just pop to the nearest DIY store when you need anything. You learn how to do it yourself.
Were you in the Girl Guides once? Be prepared.
Well, yes.
Well, this is lovely. So we've just come round a corner of one of the tracks, and it's just amazing.
It's
blown away.
Stunningly lovely out there, isn't it?
The beach, the waves, the sun on the crest of the waves.
Yes.
So what's this beach? Is there a...
Well, this bit of road is Belchmasach, and that's the Garaclatach, which just means stony bay. So there's not any sand on that bit. There was sand that we didn't actually see today as we drove over the golf course, and we're now heading north.
So we're heading to the school first?
Yes.
Is that right?
Yes. We won't pass any more bays or beaches, apart from Portmore, which is a little one, but again it doesn't have sand. It's further south on the island that has the main beaches, and up at the north end our famous beach, Colonsay Bay. You may have seen photos of that.
Well, I did actually stuff my swimsuit in my bag.
Oh, did you?
Just on the off chance. We'll
good
see.
luck. I'm not joining you.
I'll take no sugar, just black, please.
Try
That's
that.
great.
Oh,
thank you.
I made it. You right like 10 minutes ago, but it should be okay. Heat-wise, let me know if you.
That's okay. That's great. So, chief coffee maker, head teacher. There must be lots of lots of jobs you find yourself doing, Jill.
You need to know how to work a mop. Yeah. All sorts of things. You get fire alarm might go off. And so in the middle of the night, you've maybe got to come up and check everything's okay. So yeah, you have to do all sorts of things when you're on a small island.
So, how long have you been here?
I'm in my 8th year, so yeah, September would be 8 years.
And who do you have helping out? There's a few parents bustling around.
They're amazing. The Parent Council are fantastically supportive. They work really hard for fundraising. It might be ceilidhs throughout the year, whatever it is. They put the hours in. And we need that. We need the fundraising because we're on the island and tight budgets, and the children need to get to the mainland for swimming lessons and cultural activities and all sorts of things. So we're totally dependent on the Parent Council and money raised by the community through their activities to get the children off the island. So, yeah.
And how many children do you have at the moment in school?
We've got 6
6.
in the school and 1 in the nursery. But we also have a rhyme time session where the younger children can come along. We've got a new family coming to the island as well, so there'll be 2 extra little ones.
That's good news, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
So in the normal, usual day, school day, just take me through what happens.
Well, it's an interesting day. There's a school bus brings them all in the morning, and they would usually do their daily mile outside, have a run around, get some air. And it's a good time for them all to get together because some of them live quite far apart on the island, so it's lovely to see them socialising. We're introducing loose parts as well, which is...
Loose parts?
It's using recycled materials, anything they can find. It's in the playground and you see their creativity. They create all sorts of wonderful things. It's a bit like the old sort of scenario where the children take the present out of the box and play with the box, and it lets their imagination, run wild. So we start our activities in the classroom. On Tuesdays we have a senior citizens lunch club, so they come along, people from the island, and it's a normal week. We have an after school club on a Thursday. At the minute it's arts and crafts, but it varies. It can be music, whatever. And they have to, on Tuesdays, they have to go down to the hall for PE, so we have to pay for the bus to take the children to the hall at the other side of the island to do PE. So that's Tuesdays and Fridays. And yeah, apart from that, it's an ordinary day,
Ordinary
week.
day on Colonsay.
But I have a class teacher and a classroom assistant. And the classroom assistant is also the early learning childcare worker. So she doubles up. And lots of people on the island have lots of jobs. I'm sure you'll be aware of that.
I've heard that.
Yeah.
So why are you going? So you're in your 8th year. Mm-hmm. Why are you leaving, Jill? Spill the beans. Why are you going?
Well, I have other interests that I want to pursue. I feel I absolutely love it here. The children are fantastic, parents are fantastic. It's a wonderful relationship. Genuinely is a really good thing. And yeah, sometimes I think, why am I going? But there are other things I want to pursue. I've been teaching for over 20 years and I have an interest in equine facilitated learning, so I'm setting up a business there. I'll still be working with children, hopefully working with other children in Argyll and Bute, and so it's not that I'm leaving the thing altogether. I still will be a supply teacher as well, but
she's coming back, everybody. She's coming back.
It is time, I think, to let someone else come in, fresh ideas, and because it's a composite class setting and you explore everything you can, and you give what skills you can, but then because they're not having that variety of different teachers and different adults that they would in the mainland, I think that's one of the reasons it's nice to actually maybe get somebody new in. And
But you've been looking for a while, because the search started last year, and you're still looking for the right person.
Yes.
That's important, isn't it, to get the right
very
person?
much so. The right person has got to give a bit more of themselves, I think, than what you perhaps would on the mainland, in that, in a sense, you're always on duty on the island. You're always a teacher. It's interesting when you're with them in school during the day and you have the wonderful relationship with them, then you might see them in the shop on a Saturday and they suddenly become very shy because they see you out of context. You are always on duty in that sense. You obviously somebody who loves the outdoors, likes wild windy weather in the winter, they can cope with that, can cope with Scottish weather. Someone who's flexible. You know, you may have plans to go to the mainland for courses. The flights might not be running, the ferries might be cancelled, or you might have to cancel and change arrangements from the other side. People can't get out to the island, who necessarily would. I've had to put somebody up who was coming out to school and there was a power cut and he couldn't get off the island and had to sleep in my sofa. So all sorts of things happen like that quite regularly. Someone who would promote outdoor learning, that's an important thing. The head teacher would want to be willing to put extra hours in for fundraising as well and supporting the parent council and all that they do. The Cayleys can be quite hard work. They're good fun, but when you're running one, you're there until, clearing up afterwards. So it's, there's a non-glamorous side to it, which is worth it in the end whenever you see the trips that the children are able to go on as a result of it. Somebody's able to work a mop. Because
A mop?
there isn't always someone on hand if there's an immediate...
Need to mop.
Yeah, need to mop, whatever that may be, or caused by, whatever reason. And a real commitment to interdisciplinary learning, to making sure that the children's needs are met. They're all in one class and they have different abilities and different levels of maturity, and it takes quite some skill to be able to manage that. So a lot of preparation is required, differentiation is required, so it's really getting to know the children really well.
They look a lovely bunch so far. We're going to go and have a little chat with them in a while. Will the children be involved in the interview process?
Yes, they will have an opportunity to pose some questions. They might ask what interests the prospective candidates will have and what they could bring to the whole setting. And it is important that they do get a say. That they get a chance to get a feel for whoever the candidate may be.
Right, well, we'll finish our coffees and then go and have a chat with them.
Lovely, excellent.
What have you been doing today then? What kind of things have you been working on?
Well, we're doing Enterprise, the project of Enterprise this year. So we're just finding some vegetables that we can, fruit and veg, to grow in our polytunnel that's being put up.
Wow, and then you're going to sell it?
Yeah, to the local shop.
Fantastic. So what kind of things are you thinking of growing?
Well, I'd like to grow cucumber and some bush fruits, like blueberries or something. And yeah.
Anyone else? Anyone else can grow things? What are you thinking of?
Radishes and what was the other thing? Oh yeah, lettuce, like whole lettuce. I'm growing purple kale, beans and tomatoes.
Wow, that's going to be really exciting. I hope you've got a big polytunnel to get all of those crops in.
It's not finished yet though, because it's not got the plastic on it or the doors.
Who's helping you build that?
Phil.
The secretary's partner.
Right, okay. There's lots of handy people on Colonsay, isn't there? They can do all sorts of things. So you're looking for a new head teacher?
Yeah.
So, tell me a little bit about the right kind of person you would like to see come and get the job. So when you think about your new head teacher, who do you see? If you close your eyes, what kind of person do you see, and what kind of qualities would you like them to bring with them? You don't really need to close your eyes. It's okay. You're all very obedient, aren't you? Closing your eyes, that's fantastic. But yeah, what kind of person would you like to come to be head teacher of Colonsay School?
I quite like a funny, fun but not too strict arty teacher, sporty, and that just teaches you at your level and not your age group.
Right. That's very specific. Well done. You've put lots of thoughts into that one. And what about you?
Well, I'd like them to be quite adventurous.
Ooh, what kind of adventures would you like them to go on with you?
I don't know, we could maybe go over some hills on a school trip or something, and maybe do a beach clean or something.
So really just make the most of what you've got in Colonsay, all that lovely outdoors. And what about you? What kind of person would you like to come?
I'd like them to be funny. Oh, I think Izzy did that. Out and kind, and like Felix said, adventurous. But like they can carry on a joke, but then they don't let it get too much.
Right. That's important, isn't it?
Yeah.
So it's good to be funny, but you need them to be quite serious as well, don't you?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
And then also for them being adventurous, what I'd like, because sometimes we go out kayaking.
Fabulous.
Yeah, we have 3 kayaks, and because we barely ever get to do it, and I'd like to be able to do that with the new head teacher.
Kayaking. Wow. That's great. So do you go just from the local beaches here then?
Yeah. We go to Macrans, which is. Did you fly to?
I did.
Yeah. Yes. The beach closest to that is Macrans.
Is that the Stony Beach? Or is that the first? There's a Stony Beach and then we came past the
it's
golf club?
the one-
The golf
Yes.
course?
Yeah, around the
It's
golf course, yeah.
Right.
That's the golf course.
You're very lucky to live in such a gorgeous place, aren't you?
Yeah.
So what about you? Have we got anything on the list that hasn't been said yet? What do you think?
Outdoorsy.
Outdoorsy?
Yeah, so very outdoorsy and artistic and like a person that really likes animals, and because I love animals and a lot of people here do as well.
What kind of animals do you have on Colonsay?
We have like wild goats, sheep. I have dogs and fish and stuff, and cats. Yeah, wild cats, and yeah, and I also want them to be like also really adventurous, like everyone else said.
I think adventurous is a bit of a key job qualification, isn't it here? It keeps cropping up.
Humorous.
And humorous. And what about you?
I would like them to be funny.
Yeah?
Mm,
To be able to tell a few jokes?
yeah.
Have a nice smile, maybe?
Yeah.
That's important, isn't it? People
Yeah.
smile. We like that.
We want a man or a woman.
We've never had a
Doesn't
man.
matter.
For a teacher.
I really want a woman.
So do I.
Ooh, mixed mixed view
Maybe we
here.
shouldn't say that,
Man
but
or
yeah,
woman.
Could be interesting.
What makes Colonsay different from the mainland is because, like, on the mainland you can go bowling or go out for tea, like to go like to a restaurant. We do have restaurants here, like the hotel and the pantry, but like you can't go out shopping or anything. There is like a couple of like souvenir shops, like you go in and get some wool, or you'd go in and get a magnet or whatever. But it's not like clothes shops, so you don't get things like going out and do stuff with, like, but you just like meet up with your friends and like go to the park or whatever. We have one park, so you don't get to do a lot of things like bowling and
Well, we started a social media campaign. So we have a Facebook page which has got about 600 followers. And we filled that with photographs of the island mostly, and a couple of the children, and talked a bit about what the island has to offer. And the first time around that was incredibly successful and we got lots of applicants. The second time we advertised for a head teacher, we didn't get any applicants, and I think that was largely down to the time of year, which wasn't ideal for head teachers looking for a new job, and also because it clashed with our search for a GP for the island. Therefore, we were pretty quiet on the campaign front that time.
That's a lot, isn't it, for an island this size to be looking for a head teacher and a GP at the same time?
Yeah. And although both the GP and the head teacher are staying on the island, so they're not leaving the island, it's obviously a great place to live, we weren't sure whether that was maybe having a detrimental effect on the search in case people were put off by that. But anyway, we're on our third round now and we've decided to step it up again. We're active on social media again. We're actually making some videos of the kids today to give a bit more insights for anybody who's a potential candidate to what the school looks like, what the children are like, what the parent council like to work with.
I'm sure you're all a delight to work with.
They are.
Thanks, Jill. The ideal head teacher, Helen, what do you think?
Would you like me to leave?
No! Someone like Jill.
Jill!
Yeah.
You just replicate it or make us stay.
Somebody who's experienced, who's not put off by living in an isolated community and who is comfortable with how you reconcile your position in the community and your position as head teacher, because I think, as Jill touched on, that can be quite tricky. You've done it perfectly though, Jill, so hats off to you. And somebody who's incredibly patient, kind, friendly. Added bonuses would be a Gaelic speaker, musical.
What are you doing?
Sorry, I'm not very much help.
Yeah, you've been very quiet, Helen. Yeah, embraced
Sorry,
her all the way.
sorry. I'll take a breath and let Helen speak.
No, I think you've hit the nail on the head with all of those things, and I think somebody who's not afraid, like Jill's not been afraid to go out and make the most of the island that we have it, because we've got access to so few things that other school kids have on the mainland. So Jill and the preschool teacher went out and got their kayaking qualifications, and then we bought some kayaks and, you know, doing forest schools, that kind of outdoor stuff, making the most of what we have here, really, and kind of embracing that.
So one of the best things about living here is that the internet is not good at all. Which means, because quite a lot of people are, like, on the mainland especially, people are just, like, on their phones and iPads, and they don't actually get out and, like, see people and do nice things. And then, especially in Colhatton, which is where me and Felix live, it's, like, we get outdoors loads more than if we lived on the mainland, and also there's so many different places to go, and yeah, it means that we get and also it just means that we get like better night's sleeps, which means that it just it's just makes everyone happier, like if you're not always on like your iPad and your phone.
But in general, living on Colonsay, do we give it a big thumbs up?
Yeah.
Yeah, fantastic.
Kathie Goes to Colonsay was recorded and presented by Kathie Griffiths. The editor was Stephen Day. Additional sound files from soundbible.com, and was a Wivex media production for the Oban Times.